Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about steel, which is one of the prime topic in first module of RCC. The steel is used in the concrete to take care of tensile stresses, and then where we use the steel bars, it is called as a rebars. These steels are very strong, they are strong in tension and compression. Here we have three different types of steel bars. Under that, the first one is hot rolled deformed bars. Second one, cold worked steel bars. Third one, mild steel plain bars. And the fourth one is pre-stressing steel bars. In earlier construction, we used to use a mild steel, but in later on years we started using this hot rolled or cold worked steel bars for the construction. Now cold working steel bars are common, and here you can see a picture where we have a different type of a steel bar. Under that, the first one is that is the left part or left steel is mild steel. It does not have a rough surface. You can observe here, it is very smooth. Because of the smooth surface, there will be a slipping of the bars. So it will not give much tensile strength to the concrete when compared to these kind of a steel. Here in this kind of a steel, you can observe it is a rough surface and it has a threading on it. Because of these threadings, there will be a interlocking of the concrete and the steel. It gives a better bonding than the mild steel, and it gives a good strength for concrete. Usually in construction we use these torsional bars or tor bars or HYST bars. HYST bars means high yield strength deformed bars. These are the some of the steel bars, and these are the two types of the steel bars we have come across. And next is grades of steel. In steel, we have a different grades of steel, like different types of cement. Under that, the different types of grades of steel is, the first one is Fe 250, which is a mild steel. Fe 415, which is HYST bars. Fe 500, it is HYST bar. These are the three different grades of the steel. Here actually this Fe 250 is gone. We are not using it at all in the construction, but we will use for a small research work and all, we can use this. But this Fe 415 is the most common steel, and then it is Fe 500. These are the common steel we come across, and nowadays we get Fe 550, Fe 550D in the market, and these two are that is 550 Fe 550, Fe 550D are the recently added steel in the market. But this Fe 415 and 500 is a HYST bars. And next thing is, as we can see, Fe 250 is a mild steel bars because of its low yield strength. Okay, because of its low yield strength, we don't use this type of a steel bars now. And if we observe this graph, we have compared all the three bars, and we can see the variation of stress strain curve here. Now, for example, you can see this curve, that is for a mild steel Fe 250, we have already conducted a test in BMT lab, and this is how the stress strain curve will be. We know that, and this is how will be the variation. This is not a new thing for you people, so we are familiar with it. Okay, but comparing to these two things, uh, this is showing how much stress it will be taking. By looking at the graph we can find out. Okay, here in a 250 curve, that is Fe 250 curve, this is a maximum yield strength. This small changes, whatever you can see, this is a maximum yield strength, and this one is a ultimate yield strength. Okay, this portion is a ultimate yield strength that we are not considering about that. We need yielding point. Where we get a yielding point, that point is important. That means where exactly the material will start breaking, that is exactly at 250, it is that point is required. But when we come to this two graphs, that is Fe 415, it yielding point starts around 415, so that is why the grade name is given as Fe 415. And similarly for Fe 500, when we compare all these three steel bars, we can see there is a gradual increase in the yield strength of the steel. And always keep one thing in mind: for a steel, the modulus of elasticity, that is ES, it is represented by ES. Modulus of elasticity is common, that is 2 into 10 power 5 Newton per mm square. Okay, only the strength property will get changed, but modulus of elasticity for the steel will remain same for all the steel, that is 2 into 10 power 5 Newton per mm square. This topic is types of loads. Under load we have two subcategories, that is static and dynamic. Where static means whatever load is there, that will not change with time. It will always will be in the same place, and it does not change with the magnitude of the load, and it will never change in its lifespan with time. So this is about the static. Then dynamic means the load will change with time. That is, magnitude of the loads will keep on changing along with the time. For example, if magnitude of the load is 3 kilonewton per meter, suddenly for the next 5 seconds it may increase to 8 kilonewton per meter. So after 5 seconds it may also get decreased. This is how dynamic load will be acting, and it always keeps on varying, and it keeps on fluctuating with the time. So this is how we can describe a dynamic load. The next thing is, under the static we have three subdivision, that is beaded loads, live load, due to settlement. Okay, the first one is, it is due to self weight due to fixed furniture or equipments. These are the subdivision of this load. It is due to self weight and due to fixed furniture or equipment. As I said, these are static. Okay, the next thing is live loads, that is movable. For example, this is also subdivided it into occupancy and environment. for example of the environment is water flow. The third point is load due to settlement. If the constructed site soil bearing capacity is lesser than is lesser, then definitely there will be a settlement. So this is how settlement will occur. The example for this dynamic load is earthquake impact load. For example, and you can see here again dynamic load is subdivided it into vibrator and fatigue. Under vibrator we have harmonic or random and impact shock blast. What does this impact load means? If there is a sudden accident on a bridge, it may affect the bridge. That too is called as a impact load. And again this harmonic load is divided it into internal force and wind force. Internal force consists of machinery induced ground vibrations are a example for internal forces. For an example, if we consider this machinery induced, in the college we have a HHM lab, concrete lab and all. In concrete lab we will be using abrasion test and so many machineries will be there, machines will be there. These things will induce the load, and these are the examples of machineries. The next is loads on structures. These are the important load to be considered as per IS 875. Under that, the first one is a dead load. Before going to dead load, the thing is now whatever load is coming on the structure, these loads are taken according to Indian Standard Codes IS 875 in different parts. So based on that we have divided the loads. The first thing is it is about the dead load. Dead load refers to load that relatively don't change over the time. We all know that dead load does not change over the time. For example, example of a dead load is walls, beams, column, footing, slabs. These are the live load. And the next thing is, and these are permanent load. It won't be moving. The next thing is, it is about a live load. We get this live load, or for a live load we should refer IS 875 part 2 for a live load and part 1 for a dead load. For a live load, for example, the definition of the live load is, you can see here, load that do or can change over time, such as people walking around a building or mobile objects such as furniture. These comes under the live load. It should keep on changing, it should keep on moving, or it may move any time. These types or these materials, these things comes under a live load. If we consider any building, we can clearly divide this building into two things, that is, one is a dead load, one is a live load. For a dead load we may get concrete, steel, glass are the examples of the dead load. For a live load it is a people, furniture and the materials. The next one is wind loads. Actually in India we don't give much importance to the wind load, but it is very important load in the other countries. And also when we construct a high rise building above fifth or fourth floors, definitely we should consider this effect of the wind load. And this may have a huge impact on the building, and for a small residential building and all, this is not important. So the wind load is like this. The wind load data, or if we take a wind load, we should refer to IS 875 part 3. Okay. The next is snow load. Even this snow load is important in other countries, because due to their temperature or climatic conditions, these snow will be deposited on the roof of the buildings, weight get increased. So these we should consider, or in other countries snow load is a important loads. For this we should refer IS 875 part 4. The last one is seismic load or earthquake load. Seismic load is one of the important load to be considered, and here for seismic load we should refer IS 1893 part 1 2016. Here 2016 is a revised one and republished. Okay. So this is very important to be considered while doing a design. So this is about the types of loads. Hope you have understood. Thank you.